I'll edit this. Don't worry. I'll edit. I'll edit the title later, guys. Don't worry. So I just got done watching the Justice League Snyder Cut version, the 4-hour version of the movie. I just watched it, guys, and it's trending all over Twitter. Yeah. There's no thumbnail pic to get you guys interested. I'll do that later. I'm very excited, very amped up from this watching this movie. And what am I gonna say? Hey guys, it's not a good movie. You know why? Because it's a fucking great movie. This movie was awesome. Yes, it was 4 hours long, but you know what? It was worth it. This movie was an awesome movie. And I'm not saying that again. I'm not just saying that because again the good graces of Snyder fans. I'm friends with a lot of Snyder fans. Hi. I guess you could say maybe Snyder stands, but you know what? When you have the time, because it's a long movie, you could pause it in between. That's the good thing about this movie. You don't have to watch it all at once. I did. I had to pause it a few times to go to the bathroom, etc. Of course, for a 3-hour movie, you're obviously gonna go to the bathroom. But this movie was the movie we should have got in 2017. Obviously, in the theaters, this would not be a 4-hour movie. This might have been. I don't know what would be in theaters. There's not be a 4-hour movie because I think people when you sit down for a long time, you get too tired and such. People get tired when you sit down for a long time. In a 4-hour movie in a theater, people may get tired. It's like going to a sports game. When you sit down for a long time, that's why you have to get up and stuff. But for a TV, for watching at home, streaming at home, whatever, HBO Max, or wherever service you have, you could watch it. Hello, Nicola. Here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. This is gonna have no spoilers. I'm not gonna talk about any spoilers. I'll do a spoiler review a little bit later. And I know usually on Thursday it's all about the pop. I originally was gonna cancel this. It's all about the pop. So it's not about the pop. It's this stream. But so that's the beauty of watching streaming online, wherever HBO Max in the States or wherever streaming service you have in other countries. For example, in Canada, I have Crave TV. So I got to watch it on Crave TV. Just finished it about maybe 10, 15 minutes ago. And you know what? I'm gonna post this, so I can get more people to watch. And I'll edit the stuff. Don't worry, I'll edit some stuff. This is gonna be in Discord. If you're a DC fan, you're gonna love this movie. If you're a general casual comic book fan who likes to watch comic book movies, but not a hardcore fan, you're casual. I think you'll like this movie, and cause the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes in, I'm like, yep, this is better than a shitty version we got 2017. Right away, 10 minutes in, I'm like, yep, this is already better than that version. And I know a lot of non-DC fans, not hardcore comic book fans. Not a lot of hardcore fans, just casual fans that watch the Marvel movies and the DC movies. Hated the 2017 movie. And I can tell you from one thing, casual, hardcore, whatever kind of fan you are, first 5-10 minutes in, you automatically know it's better than that shitty movie gone in 2017. And we got characters we didn't see in that movie that were originally supposed to be a movie actually shown in this movie. You know, you see them in the pictures teaser. So that's not much of spoilers, really. But the story for this, some of the scenes from that original version were in this movie, but they were changed a little bit. They were changed. Somewhat. But like the extended version of BVS, the added scenes made more sense to the overall story, especially in Zack Snyder's version, his version of the movie, because when Joss Whedon came, it was all about Warner Brothers employees getting their Christmas checks, so they didn't care about the success of the movie, and it really alienated the fans shitting on the movie 2017. When 3 or 4 years later, Zack Snyder got the word that he's got permission to finish his cut, and the final product came out, it was a completely different movie. Steppenwolf. Let's talk about Steppenwolf. The comparison between this Steppenwolf and that Steppenwolf from the 2017 movie, you could see the big contrast in the characters. Right away. You know that one word he says like 1,000 times in the 2017 version. I don't think he ever says it once in this movie. I could be wrong, but I definitely don't think he says it twice. I'm just giving you a heads up. Some of the scenes in this movie were a little bit copied from because some of the scenes filmed in Joss Whedon's version were filmed by Zack Snyder. They were in this version a little bit, but Zack Snyder kind of changed some of the scenes a little bit to his version. You'll see those scenes from Joss Whedon and Zack Snyder's version. Those scenes, you'll see the changes where he made. I'm not gonna spoil them, but they're pretty big, epic changes. The writing is much better. The storytelling is much better. Let me tell you, this movie has chapters. So you know, like Mandalorian has chapter 1, 2, 3. This movie has chapters. So if you didn't watch it straight through, I watched it straight through. So if you didn't watch it straight through, I suggest you watch it and you want to take a break, watch chapter by chapter, then watch chapter 1, take a break, then watch chapter 2. You could do that. You could treat this movie like an episode, like a series episodes because of the chapters. No! I'm back. I'm sorry about that. I got a little distracted. Little bit distracted, guys. I'm sorry. You know, How long have I been streaming for? 8 minutes. It's 1,000 times better movie. 1,000 times better movie than Joss Whedon's cut. You would even tell if it's the same movie. Trust me. You'd be like watching those. If you watch those two movies side by side, you'd be like, yeah, this is 1,000 times a different movie and a much better movie. This is a version. I mean, it's a 4-hour movie, so this is a version that we should have got if Warner Bros. Wasn't so greedy and let Zack Snyder finish his Justice League version, his movie. Unfortunately, his daughter passed, and he had to step away. He was grieving him and his family, of course. Reasonable. Family's more important than a movie, right? But Warner Bros. Didn't see it that way. They saw the movie more important than Zack Snyder and his family mourning the death of his daughter. They felt that movie was more important than his version of Justice League. Now we got it, and yeah. If you could watch it, I suggest you watch it. You don't have to, like I said multiple times, you don't have to watch it all at once. I did. But you don't have to watch it all at once. It's a very different movie. Action scenes are better. The characters are not, I'll tell you something, the characters are not wussies. They're not cowards in this movie, especially the heroes are not cowards. The villains are much better. Steppenwolf is 1,000 times much better in this movie. The jokes there are a little bit of jokes in this movie, but it's not overdone. Like that movie we saw in 2017, there's jokes. You still see some sense of humor in these kind of movies. The jokes were not overdone. In this movie, there was not a lot of jokes. The jokes were mostly resolved to one or two characters in this movie. What this movie did, what the Joss Whedon movie failed to do, is give kind of a brief background history on some of the characters. We know Wonder Woman, we know Batman, we know Superman. Yeah, and we know Aquaman from the Aquaman movie. But what this movie did, it was kind of advance more of Aquaman, Cyborg, and the Flash story. So what this movie did is kind of more, gave us more a little bit of information, their background on the characters. Specifically those three. Because you gotta remember, Aquaman movie came out after Justice League in 2017. Wonder Woman's first movie came out before. And was a masterpiece of a movie, but so we did, and so in the Justice League movie, we didn't need a brief history on that. Cyborg does have a movie of his own. Flash is getting a movie now. I don't know how this movie is gonna relate to that Flash movie. We get more of history in the Flash movie, I guess. Flashpoint Paradox, but this doesn't. But that movie is not going to revolve around this, because that's Warner Bros. And this is HBO Max and Snyder's version. And this movie is getting a lot of talk. It's getting a lot of positive reviews. I know there's some shitheads sitting on this movie. I'm not one of them. Some people just don't like Zack Snyder's version of the DC. Some people don't like how he writes Spider-Man. Not Spider-Man, Superman. I know there's people like that. I think he's fine. I think the Man of Steel. I think Man of Steel was a good movie, very good movie. So yeah, it's different than the Christopher Reeve Superman. So what? Read the comics. I think BVS, if you watch Extended Edition, it made that movie a lot more sense. You could get behind. If you watch the theatrical edition, yeah, I still thought it was okay. But once I saw the Extended Edition, I'm like, yep, everything, it clears everything up for that movie. Clears everything up for that movie. And that's what made it good. And this movie, the Justice League Snyder's version, made it It's 4 hours. So it's like a standard edition. It made sense for the movie. Everything made sense. The writing was much better. Much more fluent. The action scenes were much better. The characters were well developed, much better. We got no stupid jokes. We didn't make some characters look like cowards. I was gonna say the P word, but you know what? I'll respect. I'm not gonna say that word. I did about respect, guys. So I'll tell you, there's 6 chapters and there's an epilogue. That's it. So if you want to pause it after each chapter and do something that will take your mind away, and then come back to watch it, do it. I didn't do it. So even the characters they teased us, it's got some small parts. Small parts. Listen, if you're a DC fan, you'll love this movie. And I think casual fans are going to love this movie too because it's fucking much better, guys. It's 1,000... Like, I don't know, I'm keep being this... Sound like a broken record. I'm just saying it's much better. It is much better. I'm like... I went in this movie, watching it, 10 minutes in, I'm like, this is a pretty good start. I know it's 10 minutes. A lot of things get turned in 10 minutes. This movie... There's some stuff you could nitpick here and there, but this movie, there's not much of it, not much nitpicking. But this movie, for the majority of it, was fine, was good, it was a great movie. Guys, we got a good Justice League movie here, a good Justice League movie. The version, Justice League movie, it's the Snyder's version. He originally had plans to do a 2 and 3, Justice League 2 and 3, and I believe some of the stuff in this movie will I don't know if it's confirmed to do 2 and 3, if they're already going to talk about doing 2 and 3, because I think from what I see in this movie, and if they give him permission, if HBO Max or AT&T or whatever tells him to do Justice League 2, they're not going to give him... They're not going to greenlight 3, but they'll greenlight 2 for sure. Because I think this movie, based on the success of this movie and the positive fanfare it's getting, I would greenlight a 2 movie, Justice League 2, because there's some stuff in this movie, I'm not going to tell you when, that you might need another movie. It's going to lead you to... It leads you to a sequel. At least a Justice League 2. And I'm telling you, if I'm telling you, as a fan of this movie and fans of Snyder fan movies, DC fans that love this movie, and I'm friends with some hardcore Snyder fans. I'm not a hardcore fans of directors. I like good I like movies that I like Spielberg. I like some Snyder's movies. I like movies that are good, right, man? I don't nitpick. It's just some bad directors, like Michael Bay, for example. He has some good movies and some really, really bad movies. But I know these hardcore fans, if there's no 2 plan, if nothing gets planned for Justice League 2, they're gonna be upset and angry. And I know all the fans against Zack Snyder are gonna be living that up. But I'm telling you, they do need to make a number 2. They do need a Justice League 2. I'm a little skeptical of them making it than before. Right? I'm not sure if it's going to happen. I'm not sure if Zack Snyder's going to get the green light to make it. But I'm here to tell you, I'm so skeptical, but I'm here to tell you, from watching the movie, they have to make a sequel. They have to. He has to make a sequel. And I think if Zack Snyder had it his way, he would want a sequel too. Because he wants to finish this. He wants to finish this project. Remember, it's supposed to be 5 movies. For him, it was supposed to be a 5-movie contract. Man of Steel, BVS, Justice League 1, 2, and 3. There was even storyboards on Justice League 2 and 3. Justice League 2 was going to tell more about the story between Joker, Batman, and how Joker killed Robin. If you were from BVS, remember that scene? Oh, Gollum. Oh, I'm sorry. I just read something on Twitter. Oh no, on Discord. I'm sorry. It's about. I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm gonna definitely watch this movie again, but guys, I don't know how long this video is. I know some people. I give this I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10. I mean, I don't like giving movies. I mean, like, I'm so excited. I was really excited. Like, when I saw this movie for the first 10 minutes, I was sold. It's like you can't compare the two movies with each other because they're totally opposite movies. And they have to do another movie. They just have to, because there's things in this movie that need to be done. So I don't know how long. Like, Zack Snyder has been announced to direct a King Arthur adaptation of Camelot or something. Good, because that movie with Charlie Hunnam as King Arthur and Jude Law as whatever. That was a bad movie. Oh, Saturday's gonna be news? Thank you, man. I hope so. And they do need to restore the Snyder version. You know what? Just tell these idiots in Warner Bros. Too bad. You're gonna screenlight these movies. You're gonna work with this guy. If you don't like it, get out. Like, we're gonna let you go. I know there's some casual fans that just watch comic movies. I know some of them. I'm friends with some of them. And the casual fans, they tell me that Justice League movie 2017 was shit. Even non-casual fans that go see comic book movies, because there's casual fans and there's hardcore fans who see comic book movies, but also non-casual comic book fans will see comic book movies. See, look at Avengers. They made over $1 billion. You think that's all casual comic book fans? No. And that made $1 billion. And I thought Infinity War was better than Endgame. Infinity War is much better than Endgame. And unfortunately, Rotten Tomatoes Endgame had a higher percentage than Infinity War. But Infinity War is much better than Endgame. And the Rotten Tomatoes for this movie is actually going up. I think we'll end up in the 80s percentage by this weekend. Because last time I checked, it was 78%. It started when it first came out. When some people already got their screenings, like on the weekend, and then as Monday, it was like a 75%, and then up to 76. Last time I checked, it got 78%. It's gonna get to 80%. And I know what's holding some of it back. I mean, I think it should be 85 to 90 because it's that good. Because I know what's holding it back because of the bad reputation that Warner Brothers got. But guys, this is not Warner Brothers, and that's good. I know that might hurt Zack Snyder's movie a little bit. It shouldn't. I know there's people on Twitter, I'm one of them, and there's people that I follow. They're trying to educate the casuals. This has nothing to do with Warner Bros., guys. This is a different thing. And I think the casuals or non-casuals, they would rather see Zack Snyder's version finish his version. Like, look, I want to see the Flash movie. I know it's Warner Bros. I'll see the Flash movie. I'll see the. Is it the Flash movie? I'll watch Suicide Squad. And I know Wonder Woman 84 didn't do very well, but I like the Wonder Woman 84. And I know Grace Randolph said there's talks about Zack Snyder doing replacing Patty Jenkins on Wonder Woman 3. I don't believe that for a second. No disrespect to Zack, but I think it's wrong to do that to Patty Jenkins. I think Patty Jenkins should finish her trilogy. But you know what? Get Zack Snyder to help on that movie, because the first movie Patty Jenkins did, Wonder Woman in 2017, Zack Snyder helped her in that movie. And that was a great movie. Wonder Woman 84. There was a lot of stuff going on in that movie, and I think Zack Snyder's non-influence in that movie did hurt. They hurt that movie. But for Wonder Woman 84, let Patty Jenkins direct that movie. I think Warner Brothers is gonna let Patty Jenkins direct that movie. I don't know what's coming out because they just announced it in December, and they really need to redeem that movie. But let Zack Snyder help in that movie. But I don't think Warner Brothers is gonna want Zack Snyder. But you know what, Patty Jenkins be like, you know what? Patty Jenkins should be like, if you want me to make this movie better and fix and redeem Wonder Woman 84, you let Zack Snyder help on this movie or else. And let's get props to Christopher Nolan. I don't think he helped on the Zack Snyder Justice League movie. I don't think he helped on BVS, but you saw some of his influence. On Man of Steel, helping with Zack Snyder with Man of Steel. Yes, he didn't direct a movie, but he gave advice and stuff to Zack Snyder how to do a good DC movie, and it worked. Because Christopher Nolan, this would be like one of the best trilogies, best comic book trilogies, one of the best, not just comic book trilogies, but trilogies out there. The Dark Knight. Yeah, Dark Knight Rises wasn't very good. But I think Dark Knight Rises suffered a lot because it's 4 years removed from Heath Ledger and Dark Knight. And I think it wasn't the same. It didn't feel the same, and it wasn't a good movie. It didn't feel the same. And the Dark Knight, the original plan was to have Heath Ledger in the Dark Knight sequel, right? Dark Knight sequel was originally supposed to have Heath Ledger as a Joker and back in it. But unfortunately, tragically, he passed away before Dark Knight came out, and that really suffered. You think they wanted to wait 4 years for Dark Knight Rises? No, they wanted to do the third movie probably 2 or 3 years later with Heath Ledger. But you know what? Out of respect, they waited a longer time. And the movie wasn't very good, but I understand the respectfulness out of Heath Ledger because Dark Knight Rises was very good, but Batman Begins was good. Dark Knight was fantastic, and I still think Dark Knight is my favorite movie. And there's a lot of people love this favorite movie. I do. I think this is one of my top 5 comic book movies. Dark Knight is my favorite. But I think this is top of my 5. I think Infinity War is my second one. This is my third one. My fourth one, I don't know. Top 3, this is my top 3. Fourth one, I think like Logan. Logan was fourth. Logan was fantastic too. Don't get me wrong. Logan was a fantastic comic book movie. And 5, I don't know. 5, Avengers. Avengers is good. Man of Steel is 5. I like Avengers, but Avengers is my top 10, so maybe 6, and BVS 7. And MCU has done very well. Warner Brothers, when Zack Snyder, beginning 2013, then BVS, Warner Brothers was on the right track, guys. Was on the right track. But they wanted the West Justice League to catch up to the MCU. MCU had Iron Man, Incredible Hulk. What else? Captain America, Thor. They had 4 movies before the Avengers movie came out. So they set up the characters. Warner Brothers just set up Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman in BVS. Well, Batman and Wonder Woman BVS, but we didn't know much about Wonder Woman until her movie, but with Superman and Man of Steel. They wanted to rush up to catch up. They really didn't hurt them, and they were still trying to catch up. But they got mismanagement. They got management in Warner Brothers that has no clue what they're doing. I don't even know if they're comic book fans. I know. And as MCU does, Kevin Feige runs the whole thing, but you know what? Maybe it does interfere a little bit because all the comic book movies, when it led to Endgame, most of the comic book movies in the MCU had to have some direction leading to Avengers movies, right? Had some directions with Infinity Stones and stuff. But you know what? All the directors that work on those movies, MCU, said good things about Kevin Feige. No interference. Warner Brothers interferes in everything. MCU is stable. You can, but Warner Brothers, if they just let Zack Snyder do his vision, I think there was a very good chance. I think Warner Brothers would have been stable, a stable group in doing their movies, and that's why they're doing Flashpoint Paradox of the Flash. And you know what? I have every comic book from the Flashpoint Paradox in 2011. Every comic book from the main storyline, from the side storyline, the Wonder Woman Flashpoint, Aquaman Flashpoint, the Superman Flashpoint. You know, we had the Amazonian War going to the Atlantis and stuff. I have all that. I personally think it's a mistake to go into Flash Paradox, because I think you need to establish a Flash more. And in Flashpoint Paradox, you need Professor Zoom. I think it's a mistake to go into Paradox, the Flashpoint. Establish a Flash more. Have him more character. Have his villains. I suggest with the Flash movie, have Rogues. Have Captain Cold. Heatwave. Establish his Rogue Alley a little bit, please. Or establish reverse Flash. Okay. Then do Flashpoint. But it feels like Flashpoint is to reverse everything. And you got and I don't know what's happening with the Trench movie. Nobody wants a movie about the Trench. So you got Suicide Squad. It's coming out in August. It's a completely different version. But we're also talking about the New Gods movie, right? With a very good director. I know her movie, one of her movies, Wrinkle in Time. I forget her name, but I know she directed Wrinkle in Time. Didn't get praise, but she's a very good director. New Gods movie, yeah. And would that relate to Zack Snyderverse? I don't know, cause like New Gods. If you know DC, you know the New Gods. What else? Shazam 2. Black Adam, they have their villain, right? Black Adam and cast their villain, I believe. Oh, and Hawk Girl, they have a Hawk Girl now. Elisa Gonzalez. If you know who she is, she was discovered in Dawn of the Dead, right? Not Dawn of the Dead. Shit. I know. But she was in Baby Driver. That was a great movie. With John Hamm, the disgraced Kevin Spacey. Who else? Jim. No. Yeah, it was a great movie. He was in it. She was in it. He was in Hobbs and Shaw. She was also in Bloodshot with Vin Diesel. But she's gonna play Hawk Girl. And the Batman finished filming. And I know there were some people on YouTube making a big issue about Zoe Kravitz and Robert Pattinson possibly getting together. You know, yeah. Why is it their business? It's not really their business. And yesterday, I'm proud of Zack Snyder going off against certain people and a certain menace. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check it out. But you know what? I'm not gonna talk about that because I don't want to. Yes. So, what I'm gonna tell you guys, I'm gonna finish the stream very soon. Watch this movie. Million times better than that shitty movie. 6 chapters. There's an epilogue. Story makes sense. Action scenes are better. Characters are more developed. And best of all, guys, it's just a movie that we should have got 3 years ago. This is an amazing movie. it doesn't matter what kind of fan you're, casual, hardcore, or just somebody wants to let their kids watch. Remember, it's rated R, so they do say there is blood and there's decapitation and stuff like that, and they do say the F word a couple times. But you know what? There's not a lot of swearing in this movie, so it's okay. Good. And they say nudity. There really isn't a nudity in this movie. There's no nudity in this movie really that much. It really isn't. But go check it out, guys. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. Great movie. Great movie. And I'm not just saying that in comparison to the other movie because that movie is trash. No. This is a great movie. If you compare it to a good movie, if that movie in 2017 was a good movie, this is the greater movie. I'm just saying that because that's how I felt and that's how I watched it. Check it out, guys. Check out the movie. And yeah, I'm gonna get a thumbnail picture for you guys to click on. But check out this movie, guys. Whatever service you got, it was worth the wait. I'm happy for Zack Snyder. He got his vision out for everybody to see in the world. Happy for his daughter too. He says for Autumn, his daughter. She's the one that she's tragically passed away. And yeah, I'm glad for all the actors and all the actresses, the crew who got to work on this movie, to finally see the version and that they all signed up to be part of. Because it's clearly, 2017 version was not the movie they signed up for. So thank you guys for listening. Check out the movie. Check it out, man. And guys, before I end this, Falcon and Winter Soldier tomorrow. So 2 comic book stuff in 2 days. Excited. Check it out, guys. Saturday, sports show. Why We Love Sports episode 21. Sunday, Fast Lane preview. Check them out. 3 p.m. before shows. Have a good day.